Hey folks, Dave here. We're going to do another Halloween project, and I think you're really going to enjoy this one. I saw a jewelry tree a few days ago, which I didn't realize was a thing, but when I saw it, I thought that could be turned into a Halloween project. We could put some characters up in the limbs, maybe give it a 3D effect. So we're going to use some functions and some techniques that'll help you throughout the holiday season and into other projects. So stick around and we'll get right to it. So we're going to start by pulling in a tree. It's a free vector on the internet, and I'll put a link in the description, just like all the vectors we use today. And you'll be able to go get them and do this very same thing. So I like to try to make the project fit onto one piece of 12 by 12 3mm plywood, because I cut a lot of wood and try to cut corners where I can. So I'm going to make this about 7 inches tall or so. So make sure your vector is selected. Then go up and make sure your lock is on. And then for your height, change it to 177 or more, whatever you like. But be sure the lock is on so it will change proportionately. So now, this is one of the best trees I've found to do this with. Some of the limbs are kind of thin, so we're going to correct that by doing an outline. So you want to select, go over to the left, click outline, and we'll see how 2 looks. Yeah, that looks a little cartoonish, so we're going to go back, Control Z, and get back to your original. I haven't done this, so we're doing this together. We're going to figure it out, and it's going to look good. Promise. Alright, so we'll go a distance of 1mm offset and see how that looks. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so now you can just pull out your original and delete it. So now we can go start getting some characters and putting them in. And we will just go grab a bat. And remember, your SVGs, they'll come in large typically. You can use your scroll to go in and out. You can push down on the scroll and move your whole canvas around. But the main point is you want to get the corner of this bat or any vector if you want to change it proportionately. You can stretch and squeeze in different ways, but if you want it to stay proportionate, do that. And we're just going to let that bat sit there for a minute until we go get us a raven, because we want to try to get them kind of proportionate. And I believe the raven would be a little larger. At least they're bigger than the bats we get flying around in our yard. So we will go with that. Okay, so the bat, we want to get a duplicate of it and save it, because later on we'll put in a moon on our second tree, and then we can put that bat as like he's flying. So now what we want to do is grab this bat, pull it over to the tree, and let it touch like so. Anything close to that, as long as it's, you don't want gaps in between, too big of gaps, and you want to try to get at least a couple of points touching. And then we're going to weld this in here, and that bat's going to look like he's flying through that tree. So you have your bat selected. Now you can push down the shift key, select the rest of the tree, and then go over to the left and click weld. And now that bat's up in the tree. And you can play around with it and make it look better. These I'm going to leave these in here, but if you wanted to get them out, sometimes you get imperfections you want to get out. So you could just right click and ungroup. You could just ungroup this, and then you could go back to the imperfections and take them out. You could make them larger if you wanted the limb to look. So we'll take one of them out. Just right click, delete, and then you could readjust if you wanted to make the space between the limb and the bat to look a little larger. So you can just play around with it and see what you like. We'll go ahead and group that back. And now we're going to grab this raven and find somewhere over here to put it up in the trees. Maybe we'll flip him around. If you grab the corner and you go sideways, you can flip. And also, if you wanted to change direction of it, you could highlight it or select it, go up to arrange, and just flip it. All right, that is a pretty big raven, so we're going to make him a little smaller. And again, you make yours as big as you want to. So the key here is when you have something like his feet are kind of small. If you left it where his foot was overhanging too much, then when you cut it, you're just going to have a little snaggy looking piece that you'll probably break off in the first 5 minutes. So we just kind of want a silhouette. So you want to cover up the small pieces, attach him there, leave him selected, shift, and then select the tree, go over to the left, and hit weld. And now he is part of the scene. So let's see what else. Let's go get a vulture, put him on top. Big vulture. So the vulture should probably be larger than the raven. So that's kind of how I judge my characters, unless I plan them out in advance, and I don't plan a lot, so I usually just try to size them up and say, well, vultures are a little bit bigger than ravens, so let's do that. So this guy is going to be a little more difficult. He might lose his toes in the long run, so we'll see. And just get them in the best spot you can, whatever you think works. And if you have to let him hang over like that and then just sand his toes off, by all means, sand them off. Okay, we're going to go with that. Leave it selected, shift, select the tree, go over to the left, click weld, and now he is part of it. Let's go get a cat. We'll put this cat down around the base somewhere. And then we're going to adjust that base so it's flat across the bottom. So when you set it on the table or wherever you set it, it'll set flat and be stable. All right, so you got the cat down there. Keep it selected, shift, select the tree, and then select weld. All right, now we have a cat. All right, so now I think we'll do something with this bottom now. So we know these ragged roots wouldn't set up on the table. And again, we're going to take this tree. We'll have a slot in the bottom. The copy of this tree will have a slot in the top, and we'll slide these together. And on the second one, we're going to have to cut this limb out of the way. And so we're doing some things that'll help you a lot with your projects. And if you have questions about anything, just put them in the comments, and I'll answer them as quickly as possible. At least I'll try to. Okay, so just grab a ellipse circle, and then just with your left mouse key, just push down and drag it out, because we kind of want a oval. Doesn't matter how big. We're going to adjust it as we need to. So what we want to do is take this oval and put it up here without obscuring the cat too much. And that works pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to keep that selected. Shift, select the tree, and then we're going to weld that to the tree. I know, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So now we need a square edge on the bottom. So we're just going to grab a box, drag it across the bottom like so. Click the arrow to select it. Move it to whatever you believe to be about halfway. Somewhere in the bin, right in there should be fine. And now we want to, in this case, we're going to subtract this square from the tree. So when you're subtracting, you have to select the item that you're subtracting from first. Then push Shift, then select the item you're subtracting. Go over to the left to subtract, and voila, we have a bottom for the tree. That looks pretty good. So I think we will put maybe a gravestone over here on the side and see how that looks. I have one, so I guess we'll try to do something with it. Let's see. And when you make yours, just change it. Nothing here is professional. I'm just playing with it and trying to figure out the best way to do it. So that gravestone's about a good size. Okay, so we're going to outline this gravestone. So you're going to go over here, click, outline, and one's fine. So the outline will be your cut line. So we're going to pull it out. And that's what's going to go there. And this, I want to make sure it's grouped, and it is. And I think just do a score on that. And look off to the top right. Always keep your cut lines on the bottom. So move your score and engrave up to the top. Otherwise, it'll cut everything out, and then it'll start trying to score, and it'll just be a mess. And I've done that plenty of times. It's not pretty. All right, so now we want to take this. It doesn't have to be straight. We just want to get it in here. And we could try to tie all this together at once, but when you do that, usually everything will take up the score and you end up having to back up anyway. So if we attach this first, get it selected, and then select this one. I get confused sometimes. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get there. And now we're gonna do weld. Okay. Yeah, I get to talking and I I get myself confused, but that's all right. I put a pork shoulder on to smoke this morning, and I gotta wait it out for about 8 or 10 hours anyway, so I'm gonna spend part of that time with you folks, and we are gonna make this tree happen, believe me. All right, so that'll look like something. I'm not sure what, but it looks pretty good right now. So now we can start to duplicate this, and I don't think I had any extra characters to go in. Nope. Okay. So you get as many characters as you want and put in here. You can stretch this tree and make it larger. But once you decide to start duplicating and cutting your fits, don't stretch it out anymore. Not unless you do them all at the same time. So, okay, we're going to copy this, duplicate. We're going to group everything first, is what we're going to do. Now everything's grouped. Okay. So now we're going to right click and duplicate. I'm going to pull that over. And now that we're over here, these will be at right angles from each other. And so we can add some more stuff here. So I think what we'll do is put, well, this limb right here, we need to cut it out of the way so they can slide over each other. So just get a square and get it over the limb. You don't want it to touch the rest of the tree. So that limb, and it don't have to be a cut, but to keep me from getting confused, we're just going to subtract it. So we got to select this one first because we're subtracting from that. Shift, select the box, and then go over to subtract. And now that limb's gone. That's pretty cool. This is what I was talking about with the red. I didn't want to, that's why I tried to change that box to a cut before I'd done that, but that's okay. We'll fix it back. And it's not, nope, it's not going to let me. So we're going to go back. And when I make mistakes, I'm going to leave them in here because I think it helps everybody for that to be the case. So I should have went ahead and made that a cut like so. Then brought it over because if it picks up the last color or layer that you used, which in our case was this gravestone for a score. And if you're not careful, it can affect the entire thing. And if you've got it grouped, it just don't work out good. Okay, so now we got it back. We want to select the tree, shift, select the box, and then go over to the left and click subtract. Dang it, it done it again. So, all right, okay. We will, I don't know why it don't want me to cut that limb off. So what I'm going to have to do is ungroup the tree from here. And then we'll try that. So we'll just hit the tree without hitting the red and then select. Okay, there we go. So now we can group it back. So if it's grouped with the other layers, then I guess it does that thing. Oh well, all right, we know how to fix it now though. Okay, so now we're going to put a moon in here. So just grab a circle, push down the shift key and then your left mouse key and just drag out however large a moon you like. And then we will put that down here somewhere. We don't want to obscure this in the middle because we're going to be sliding one. We're going to slide this one over this one. So we make it a little smaller. Put it here, let it touch. And then shift, select the tree, and then weld. Dadgummit. That is irritating. So it's got to stay ungrouped. I'm just getting that out of there until we get done. So now, select the moon, shift, select, weld. All right, we won that one. Now let's go back and get this bat. I'm going to put this bat up here, maybe have him flying in at an angle. And then we will make him a score too. But I know what to do now. I'm just going to move him out of the way until we're done cutting on this one so I don't mess up again. And I guess we should do the same thing over here. Ungroup, pull this out, and we will put it back in at the last minute. Alright, so now there's the tree may be too thin to do this, so we're just going to add some girth to the trees, both of them here. So just get a box. Dang it. It likes picking up that last thing. And then just put it in, and we're just going to add some meat to that tree right there. And we're just going to use the weld again to do that. There we go. Now it's a little thicker, and we will do the same thing over here. And just add a little bit to it. Okay, we did that. So let me get this guy out of the way. And let's get these kind of lined up. Okay, so now we just want to pick a halfway point and grab, now we could grab a line. So grab your pencil and just pick kind of a halfway point and draw across. Now when you're drawing a line, what works for me is to let go of the left mouse button, click it again, and then right click. So we just wanted a line to know where to put these cuts. So now grab a box, and I hope it ain't red again. And then from that line, or just a tad above it, just draw a box down just like that. Click it, select it, and we want it to be about 2.6 in width. And that's to adjust for kerf, and that don't look right at all. So yeah, that's right. Okay, we just got to drag it out. We're good. So we want it to be 2.6 because we're using 3mm plywood, and with the kerf, if you don't know, kerf is the amount of material that the laser removes above and beyond what you specify. So you tell it 2.6, it's going to take out close to 3. So, and then we can copy this duplicate, and put it over here for using here. And we'll go a little bit below. And it doesn't matter that it sticks out above. Doesn't matter at all. And this probably needs to be a little lower, judging by how much of this is hanging over. So the line just gives you some kind of idea of where to do this. Okay, so now we want to cut these out. So we're going to subtract this from the tree. So to do that, I'm going to center this up a little bit more. To do that, select the tree first, shift, select the slot, and then go to the subtract and subtract it out. And there we go. There's our slot. We're going to do the same thing here. Select first, shift, select the slot, go over to the left, and subtract. Now this tree will set on top of this tree, and we're just going to test it real quick and see how close we got. And if we didn't get close, we'll do it again. So it's going to come down, and what you're after is to have those lines at least meet like that. So I've got to stretch one of them, doesn't matter which one, so we will, this is the last one we've done on the right, so we'll just use Control Z. And then we will slide this one down a little bit. And then we will subtract it again. Select the tree, shift, select the slot, and subtract. And then we will test it again. See how she looks. Okay, now when they line up, there's a gap there, so we're good. All right, so we can get rid of this line. Delete that out. We can put our bat on the moon. We can put our gravestone back together. We can group all this. Put our gravestone over here. Group all of this. And now, I believe it's time to cut. So let me get set up in the laser bed. I'll come back and do a frame and send the code over. I'll be right back. Okay folks, we're all framed up. So let's get this cut out and see what it looks like.
Okay, folks, we got it finished. Just two pieces. One slides on top of the other. You can play around with it and maybe make the bottom of one larger, add some more tombstones or some more characters. And I dropped links down in the description for all the characters, so get those and whatever else you can find out there, and just have fun with it. If you have questions, let me know in the comments and I'll get you an answer as quick as I can. I really appreciate you watching. Hope you learned something. We'll have some more videos out soon, so just check back often and take care, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.